You know, I'd love to end today on a quote. And so we can have just maybe not a full guided meditation, but a brief meditative moment with a quote. And maybe we can close that way.
I love it.
All right. And this is kind of, I think, encompasses what this course is about and what being with diabetes, both the course and just being with diabetes in your life, what that's about. And so let's take a moment before I read this to just pay attention to the way that we're seated. And you might find it even comforting to kind of have a gentle rocking back and forth motion. Maybe that motion even matches your breath, inhaling on the way back, exhaling forward. You might notice places where your body's tense, so maybe your hands are clenched or your shoulders are up high. Seeing if they can drop, you can just let gravity take some of that stress downwards into your seat or the ground. And just see how you hear this quote. Just take a look over your body and listen to what this quote has to say. See how it resonates for your experience with diabetes. As you sit here, just breathing, maybe rocking back and forth, maybe just your breath and noticing your mind and body. If you've experienced hunger, you know that having food is a miracle. If you have suffered from the cold, you know the preciousness of warmth. When you have suffered, you know how to appreciate the elements of paradise that are present now. Don't run away from things that are unpleasant. Embrace your suffering, smile to it, and discover the source of happiness that is right there within it. Wise people suffer too. The difference between them and us is that they know how to transform their suffering into joy and compassion. Like good organic gardeners, they do not discriminate in favor of the flowers or against the garbage. They know how to transform garbage into flowers. Don't throw away your suffering. Touch your suffering. Face it directly, and your joy will become deeper. So, maybe take some deeper breaths and make some small movements if you're having a little moment there. So, in the spirit of that quote, which came from the late Thich Nhat Hanh, who was a just beloved peace activist and meditation teacher and spiritual leader, let us all consider in what ways we can be better gardeners of our own lives, or as Rob also likes to put it, better farmers of our own houses.
Yeah, that's right. You guys know, real Rob heads know every homeowner is a farmer. Sam, thank you for your time today, man. I caught myself, I was telling Eritrea earlier in our staff meeting that on Friday I got like some unpleasant news late in the day. And I was like, just felt like the smoke coming out of my ears and just I was seeing red. And I went to the gym to play basketball to try to I was doing that anyway. And that's a great way for me to de-stress. And I got done with it and I was like, I feel a little bit better, but I'm still kind of worked up. Like what's going on with that? Why I'm curious. And I was like, what I didn't do today? I didn't take time to be grateful for what I have and where I am. And after I did that, it didn't solve I still was upset a little bit, but I just remembered that like this isn't permanent and that I have been hungry and experienced food and know that that's a miracle. And I think that was like just that awareness and that curiosity and reminder to, this is just temporary. Yeah, I can be upset. That's interesting. Let's figure out why. Oh, well, we weren't grateful today. Well, guess what we can do right now? We can be grateful and start that momentum to feeling better. So that was an excellent way to finish this interview. I feel like you and I could probably do a 3 or 4 hour podcast together. We can go all the way back to karate. You and I had a very similar, like I've never told my karate story on this podcast, but 4 years of Shito-ryu karate and little Rob, just that's basically informed my entire life. Just the guy, I just was the only kid that never quit and ended up getting my black belt with a bunch of grown men. And so
Yeah.
when I was 9 years old, so there you go. That's just how things work when you have amazing people like you on the podcast. So looking forward to having you back. Thank you to Diabetes Sangha and for Peter for introducing us and making this happen, and for you for your time today. And thank you for sharing and being vulnerable as well with your new diagnosis. I really appreciate it.
Totally. Thank you for your time, Rob, Eritrea. Thank you so much. Really appreciate both of you and excited to talk more soon.
Sounds great. This episode was produced by Eritrea Musa, edited by Ashley Bright and Laura Kowalczyk. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you next time.